guys, this is Comic Uno, and today I'm doing a review for Jessica Jones. Yes, finally reviewing the show. I binged this show very quickly because I really liked it. So, of course, I'll talk about what I liked and what I disliked about the show, if there was anything I disliked. I'm going to try to give my non-spoiler thoughts on the show and then my spoiler thoughts. Quick non-spoiler thoughts on the show is that this is a very intense show. All 13 episodes I thought were paced very well. And just like Daredevil, it tells a story about a hero and a villain. And I think more in this show, it kind of tells a story of multiple heroes. Of course, this is Jessica Jones's show, and it's her journey of kind of opening up and seeing exactly who she is, as a person. And she definitely has a lot of problems when she goes into the show. A lot of things that she's gone through that she has to deal with. And that's kind of the journey throughout the whole show, is kind of dealing with her past and learning about her past. And there's not this one exposition episode where, like, this is what happened with Jessica Jones, which kind of happened in the comic. There was this one arc that told us about the past of Jessica. In this, what I really liked is that it's a continuous story of Jessica's past. Some flashbacks here and there, some explaining from Jessica, and then some reveals of her past, and I liked how they dealt with that in the show. So yeah, Jessica was great. And also the villain of Kilgrave. They don't wait until the end to show the main villain or have little minions. It's not that. It really is showing Kilgrave from the second episode and going from there to kind of see how Jessica either defeats Kilgrave or doesn't defeat Kilgrave. You'll have to stick towards the spoiler part to find that out. So, also another thing I really enjoyed about the show was the supporting characters. They really fleshed out all the supporting characters really well. Hope, I think Trish was really well done, and Luke Cage, who's going to get his own show, so obviously they had to flesh him out a little bit here. But honestly, Luke Cage, they could have just had him for one episode and say, oh, check out his Netflix show to learn more. They really fleshed out his character a lot here and utilized Luke Cage a lot in this show. But he's not in every episode, but I would say he's in at least 3/4 of the show. So that's something I really liked about the show. Also, the performances were really well done across the board. I really liked. I'm gonna probably talk more about this in the spoiler section. But a performance I really enjoyed was the person who played Hope. You really get to see some interesting scenes with her. Again, you have to watch the spoiler portion to learn a little bit more about her interesting scenes, but I was really blown away by her performance especially. But of course you have Kristen Ritter, who does a great Jessica Jones. Really took Jessica Jones from the comic and put her on screen. And what I like about this adaptation is that it's similar to the comic. It really gets every character right, but it's not a clone of the comic. And since this is a Netflix show, and I'm glad it's a Netflix show, not just because it's an MA show, and is able to do some more, violent things here, I think what's really cool about it is that it's not a procedural, because Alias could have easily been, here's one mystery, let's figure this out. Here's another, okay, let's figure it out. Which, a lot of network shows end up doing to try to get their first season going, because they have more episodes also. Since this is a 13-episode arc, you really don't get to see that many of other investigations besides Kilgrave. And I thought that was a good thing. I'm glad that they didn't have a random mystery in this episode and another one in the next. I thought that was actually a really good pattern and what made this show so strong. So, wrapping up the non-spoiler portion of the show, it's really well paced, it's really well acted, and there's a lot of great storylines that are told in the show. So I totally recommend it if you don't watch it. Now, I'm gonna go into the spoiler portion. So now let's start talking about some spoilers. What I want to talk about first is kind of some symbolism throughout the show that I really enjoyed. One I really liked was the use of doors. Trish's door being locked for most of the show, and kind of showing that's her barriers as a person. She doesn't let a lot of people in because of her past, which we do learn about. Loved how they weaved in both Jessica and Trish's past. It wasn't just one episode where they're like, hey, this is what happened in the past. They really weaved it in throughout all the episodes, either by Jessica saying, oh, this is what happened, or they did show it with flashbacks. In her childhood, her growing up, and even before the events of Kilgrave. So that's something I enjoyed. Another symbolism I really liked was the use of purple throughout the show. It wasn't just like, oh, because the show is purple, you know, let's use it. I really think the symbolism had to do with Purple Man's always there. Even if you don't see him, he's always there. Especially for Jessica, because everything that she went through with Kilgrave, she's always thinking about him, always being paranoid about him, even if he's not physically there. And also just shows that he's in your mind. So I really like the use of purple in the show. So let's start talking about the characters of the show, because I think the characters are what made the show. And with Daredevil, I feel like it was more of the plot, even though I think Kingpin was a great villain, and of course Matt Murdock was a good hero. In this show, it's not just Jessica being a hero, but you get to see the journey of Luke being a hero, of Trish being a hero, of, you know, Jessica being a hero. And then you do get that kind of similar formula of seeing Kilgrave in his past, and I wouldn't say try humanizing him, because you're not humanizing him, he's still a villain, but you see his point of view, which is terrifying, and they do it in a really good way. And David Tennant as Kilgrave, I mean, again, he has this charisma that he's showing, and it's terrifying. And what I like about this villain so much is that he's so psychological. It's not this one guy saying, oh, you know, I'm going to take over the world, and that's the villain. It's him really targeting Jessica in a psychological way, which makes it, and I'm going to keep using this word, even more terrifying. So he's I say, honestly, the best Marvel Cinematic Universe villain. Hands down. Best. David Tennant brings this life to him, and the storylines that he has is just, it's horrible. And you want to see how Jessica deals with him throughout the show. So let's go through the characters of the show. Like I said, I talked about Kilgrave. He was a great villain. Jessica as a hero, a protagonist, was great also. The way that she led this show. You really learn why she becomes a loner. And like I said, something I enjoyed about this show that the comic actually didn't do is how they weaved in her past. Yes, the first episode is a little mysterious of like, oh, why is Jessica Jones this way? But as the show goes on, you understand why she's a loner, and at the same time, she's not. She kind of needs the people that are in her life, and I guess this leads me into Trish, who became my favorite character in the show because, or at least one of my favorite elements of the show, was Trish and Jessica's friendship. Because they're the unlikely people that would be together. You have Trish, who's a superstar. She was a child star, and you find out that she had this really horrible past with her mother controlling her. There's this scene where we see the mother trying to make her throw up in the bathroom because she had a burger. She had a horrible childhood, and Jessica saved her from that childhood. Jessica told Trish, you gotta go. And you don't see that in the flashback, but it's told after. I liked how they weaved in again, Trish and Jessica's relationship, where you see Trish literally, and Trish's family and mother just brought her in because it would look good, that they brought in somebody from her school and who's now a foster child. But then you see that Trish and Jessica care for each other as sisters, and that really shone in the last episode, where Kilgrave notices the only person she really does care about and loves is Trish, as a sister. And I really like that, because you do see Jessica start opening up and saying, you are my best friend, and that's why I want to try protecting you. And yeah, so I thought that friendship was the highlight of the show, and it was really fun to see grow. Another thing I liked about Trish, and like I said, this show is very much about being a journey, having a journey of being a hero, and we see that Trish is also trying to be a hero, that she's learning martial arts in just the second episode. So I hope this should be in the Defenders. I hope we could get to see more of Trish. And she actually has a bit more of a cliffhanger, because it seems like the second season, if they have a second season, will be more about discovering Jessica's origin story. And Trish really wants to discover more of her origin story. Another really strong scene with Trish is when she takes the combat pill. You see that she wants to protect her friend no matter what, and it almost makes her heart stop. There's a lot of times where Trish almost dies, which is very much a parallel to the comics where she actually does die and goes to hell. So I'm like, are they going this route? I don't know. So I'm like always getting on the edge of my seat with that. Really hope that Trish ends up becoming Hellcat in some form in any of these Netflix shows. Luke was also another strong character because you get to learn about his past, and I really liked his relationship with Jessica because it becomes very complicated when you find out that Jessica killed his wife, but under the control of Kilgrave. And Luke can't forgive her because of that. And then you kind of see their journey and their relationship grow. So yeah, that's something I really enjoyed about it too. Another character I want to give a shout out to, like I said, her performance was really well done. It's Hope. I mean, you had that amazing cliffhanger in episode 1 where you see her kill her parents, and then you see this guilt throughout the show, and she kills herself in the end because she is so desperate for Kilgrave to die that she says, I don't want me to be here. I don't want me to be the problem why you're not killing Kilgrave. He needs to die. And she kills herself, and it's such an emotional scene. And her performance, again, throughout the show is just great, especially the makeup they used for her, too. But you just feel the pain from that character. So yeah, Hope was great. Malcolm was an interesting character, too. I liked his backstory, and I think he became more... At first, I'm like, is he a necessary character? But you do see the journey of how people deal with Kilgrave and after they are... honestly, the trauma they have after the event, post-traumatic stress disorder. So you kind of see all these characters dealing with it in a different way. And another interesting character was Simpson and how he dealt with it. He dealt with it in a completely different way than Malcolm or Jessica. He still wanted to kill Kilgrave, but he took some major measures to do so. So you're seeing kind of these different versions of heroes. You see... Again, Trish, who wants to be kind of this traditional hero that we know. Jessica, who doesn't know that she's a hero and kind of finds out that she is along the way. And then you have Simpson, who thinks he's playing the hero, but he's kind of this, like, anti-villain by the end of the show. So let's start talking about the ending of the show. Again, I thought it opened up, left a lot of things open, and I like that they ended up killing Kilgrave in the end. Because I was actually talking to Jeremy, Mr. J's Comics, and he asks, like, do you think you would like to see Kilgrave again? I'm like, I think the reason he was such a good villain is because it was just for this season. I think it was such an amazing arc, they wouldn't really be able to redo it. And what I liked about this show so much is that it was just this one villain. It wasn't any other these adventures. It was just this one story. And I think that they did that very well. So that's something I really liked. Let's talk about the negatives of the show. There's not many. I guess it's the one negative I have about the show is the character, the lawyer character. I think she was kind of just there to fix plot holes. As much as I like the diversity that she brought to the show and in her relationships were interesting, I don't think she was necessary for Jessica's story. Again, she was, I think, the lacking part of the show, and I'm like, she's not as interesting, or she doesn't fit as much as, Trish or Luke, and obviously Jessica. So I thought she was kind of the oddball out. Another small complaint I have about the show is that there's a few episodes in between where I thought the Kilgrave, fight was a little bit too prolonged. I'm like, alright, I kind of want to get to the final battle now, And there were some episodes where you didn't see Kilgrave at all towards the middle, and I thought that was weird. I know he was kind of in hiding, they were figuring out where he was, but I think that could have been shortened a little bit more. So that's a small complaint I have about the show. But overall, this is such an amazing show, so please go check it out. I give it 4.5 stars. I loved it from beginning to end. Totally recommend it. Also, don't forget to check out Media Madness this Wednesday at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time to check out even more information about the show and us to discuss even more about the show. So, hope you guys enjoyed. This is Comic Uno. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Don't forget to like my Facebook page. Also, description below, there's links for my comic book, Like Father, Like Daughter. And don't forget to like the Facebook page of Like Father, Like Daughter. I'll see you guys later. Bye.